Britain's seasides are a mecca for people looking to start the small business that they've always dreamed of running. Thousands of small businesses start up with the idyllic notion of owners carving out their dream work-life balance. But nothing is more likely to spell disaster than a rose-tinted view of running a business. It's a disease that kills firms regularly.
I think people, when they retire, quite often set up small businesses by the seaside because they have this dream, this ideal of what their life is going to be like and that they're going to get finally the work-life balance right. The reality is, when you've got a small business, you have no free time and very often you have no spare cash.
I'm here in Torquay, part of the English Riviera and once the jewel in Britain's seaside crown. After decades of recession, new investment is helping the town on the road to recovery. But one small business that is still struggling, despite the town's regeneration, is the Singing Kettle.
Cakes, cookies and scones are homemade fresh on the premises. Come in and try some. Why not?
2 years ago, Ray and Marlene Messer spotted a Torquay tea room for sale and fell hook, line and sinker.
As soon as I saw it, I wanted it. I just walked in and it was so magical and so lovely. I just had to have it.
After running a hotel, they wanted a business to retire on, and one where Marlene could indulge her love of baking. The Singing Kettle fitted the bill.
I always wanted 3 children. I've got 2 lovely daughters and I've got my 3rd one, which is the Singing Kettle. I just think it's a fun thing to do. Cake making is very therapeutic and love it.
They remortgaged their house and used Ray's pension to lease their dream business.
It meant I could go back to work and feel useful and look forward to building a business.
No, see, I told you how to do this the other day.
And this time round, they made it a family affair with daughter Cassie.
When I sort of suggested to Mum and Dad about working with them, I think my mum was a bit hesitant.
We both have different ideas and Cassie is a very feisty young lady.
You're out there talking to your friends or customers while everyone else is running around clearing tables and doing dishes.
Sometimes you just need to get out of the heat of the kitchen for 5 minutes just to...
It's your business, not mine, so if you can't do it, why should I?
I don't want to play this game anymore.
I don't think Mum and Dad truly thought how much work would be needed to be put in. Whether or not they can keep up with the times, I don't know.
But the family fights are the least of their worries.
Sometimes we don't get a first customer till midday, and that's a worry. You wonder why? Where are all the people? Are they going somewhere else?
Whilst they can be busy in the summer, during the off-season, takings can be as low as £20 a day, and they can't afford to take a wage.
The first year, we didn't make a profit. The money for the house has come out of savings. So it hasn't been easy.
Retiring to run a business often means systems and processes don't pass modern muster.
When they say back it up to a disc, you look at a disc, what do you see on it? Nothing. When my pen runs out, I know what's in my book. You can't beat the old systems.
Time is running out for the Messers.
We may get through the summer, but then it will be up to the banks at the end of the day, how long they stick with us.
It's obvious that the Singing Kettle is not successful, but I don't know whether it's because the family actually have no skills at what they're doing, because they're blinkered, because they didn't do their research well enough. You know, there's so many possibilities.
I hope whatever we do with Alex's guidance is going to be the push that we need to make this place, great.
The Singing Kettle is a 20-minute walk from Torquay Centre. It may have been their dream, but that is a business nightmare, as passing trade is all but non-existent.
Straight away, this isn't the most salubrious location. It is on a corner of a main road. Not an enormous amount of footfall, I imagine, here. This looks just very run down and old-fashioned. All in all, they are certainly not putting their best foot forward and certainly not putting on a good face to the world. Hello. Alex Polizzi.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Alex. Lovely
Nice
to meet you.
you. So, what do you think the problem is here?
That I'm not sure. How we attract people in has always been a problem. Maybe the downfall is we're not spending enough on advertising.
OK. I thought I might try your scones. You make your scones
Oh,
in
gosh,
house.
yes, we do. The guest scone is ginger.
I'll try a guest scone.
A good tea room should have scones, but it shouldn't try and be something it's not.
So we have on here breakfast, rump steak, gammon steak, burger and chips, battered chicken, sandwiches, toasted sandwiches, baguettes, wraps, jacket potatoes, and we have regular fillings, luxury fillings. And only then do I finally get to the fact that all our scones are homemade. I just think you kind of get bewildered. I'm not sure what their USP is here. They say they're a tea room. The first 2 pages make it look like a cafe.
Yearly sales of cream teas are worth £85 million in Devon alone. They also offer good profit margins if you can keep your selection simple and consistent. So cakes and cream teas really should be Marlene's focus.
I personally think that these are very underwhelming sandwiches. A huge cookie. I mean, who plows their way through all of this?
We've not had many finish them. We actually took pictures of the first couple that finished, didn't we? I think it was 2 blokes.
I mean, I'm sure most people come in and want a kind of fruit scone or plain scone. I wouldn't have a ginger scone again, let's put it that way. People love cake. The revival of cake has been well documented. They are missing out on that entirely. My goodness, look at that shoddy selection of cakes.
But it's not only the menu that's wrong. The room is full of mismatched decor that's long past its sell-by date.
Everywhere I look, there's a problem. A green fire. An elephant here. We've got a little bit of blue and white crockery on the walls. By the way, what is this? Is this to unblock a big loo? It's just... I hate these kind of places. They're done so badly and it's so half-hearted and it's so confused. All in all, I just don't understand what they're marketing towards. They have no coherent strategy.
There's lots of evidence here of the family pursuing their dream without analysing the business rationale. Like so many small business owners, I think they may be blind to the realities.
Aha! This is the hub of it all.
This is it.
Gosh, it's very bijou.
It is.
You produce a lot of stuff in here. I mean, we just have to work out why you're not making any money and why you don't have more customers.
I do say, this don't sell, that don't sell. This shouldn't be on the menu if you want a traditional tea room. Deaf ears.
How do you find it working together?
We clash so often. I get angry because I want it to succeed.
OK, what is your reason, do you think, for your lack of success? Your chance?
I think we are successful.
You do understand what I mean by success. I don't mean someone saying to you, oh goodness, that's a very nice scone. I mean making money on your business. What would you like to do to try and make you more successful year round?
Probably help with advertising.
The locals need to know we're here because they're your winter trade.
I think you're missing out with a far more few obvious stages.
Like what?
Just here, 1 font, 2 fonts, faded, old style font, empty specials. I don't know, it doesn't look like someone's dream. It's not very well thought out.
No, it's not.
That I think you're doing yourself a disservice, and I think that's what matters to me.
If we had the money when we first took over, we would have done it immediately. But the money wasn't there.
But I understand that, darling, but that doesn't explain to me why you have you've got menus, so someone put up menus and then let them fade in the sun, and then they look like you put this up.
It's hard to hear what she has to say. I don't want the spirit of the Singing Kettle to disappear completely. I want it to be... God, I'm going to cry in a minute. I want it to still be my Singing Kettle. What I love.
Not long ago, Britain's seaside resorts were a byword for dilapidation and neglect. Now places like Salcombe and Padstow are some of the hottest destinations in the UK. The move from the outdated Kiss Me Quick market to a more cultural and foodie offering has helped drive the change.
This is Torquay out of season. There's lots of people here. It's not nearly as depressed or depressing as I half expected it to be.
Businesses that are set up without research are often the slowest to recognise what their customers actually want. As the seaside smartens up, so does the clientele. Keeping in step with that is the only way to succeed.
They're smart compared to the way that they're presenting themselves at the Singing Kettle. The signage, which is all of the same, all very clear. You wouldn't be shy of walking in, you'd know exactly what you were going to get. Look how pretty that looks. They've really thought about the design, and it's a very appealing place to go and have a cup of tea in the sunshine. 3 scones. They're doing scone-upmanship. Is it still the traditional pattern of seasonality down here?
It's much, much longer. It's running now from February half term right the way through until end of October, beginning of November.
Is it what you were hoping?
It's better than we hoped, to be honest with you. Things are on the up rather than on the decline. There's more money being spent.
Well, I think everyone's realised that something radical has to happen to Britain's seaside towns if they're to survive, because...
That's it, and Torquay seems to have cottoned on to that.
Well, I'm going to take one of them away, if I may. Well, yes, why not?
It's clear to see that the regeneration here is making a difference, but it only serves to highlight the enormous challenge I have on my hands.
If you're in the position that Singing Kettle is, in a rather awkward location, you have got to be doing something that really makes you stand out from the crowd. You've got to be doing something different to ensure that customers come to you. The Singing Kettle have got to pull their socks up and start thinking of something new to do. I had a bit of a salutary moment today because Torquay is definitely moving up in the world, and you've got some tough competition. And there's some places with some very nice product there, much nicer than what you're offering here. I'm not entirely sure why someone would come to the Singing Kettle instead of one of them. We've got to decide whether you want me to turn this into something that is a complete cut above anything that there is in Torquay, so that maybe, just maybe, people may come here on purpose. So it's a kind of root and branch reorganisation.
You know, if we didn't want to take your advice, we wouldn't have asked. You know, as hard as the pill is to swallow, we have to swallow it.
Are you all right, Cassie? Why?
Because this is everything I've always said. They're not listening to me.
Come here.
Lauren, need a minute.
Don't walk away.
I didn't mean to upset Cassie, obviously.
You haven't, they have.
Oh, OK, it's me again.
Literally everything she said is what I've said, and it just hurts when one person says it, and it's...
It's very, very hard to work with your children.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get... You know, there's no point you being... It's not a competition, darling.
No, it's not. It's just... It's been an ongoing fight for me.
OK. The important thing is that they acknowledge that there is a problem, that they're willing to change. A big overhaul is definitely needed. I don't know how it's going to work yet, but I've got to give it a go.
I think it's imperative that the family seize the competition for themselves.
I like the theme in here. It's obviously old Torquay.
At the end of the day, it's personal choice.
We want people to like our tea room, so we need to go for what people like.
Yeah.
It's not an extension of the house.
Yeah, but that's saying everybody only likes.
No, it's
The
not.
people that come in will like all what we have, other people won't.
You can go anywhere and find one person that likes the decor.
Yeah, but we've
But not
had...
everyone, yeah. But how many people haven't said they like the plates, if you want to look at it that way?
I think it was unfair comparison. The type of establishments they are and where they're situated are completely different. Overall, I'm sorry, as a comparison test, today was a waste of time.
Ray may be reluctant, but they all have to modernise if the Singing Kettle is to survive. First thing on the agenda, the food. If the Singing Kettle wants to be the tea room in Torquay, then their cake range has to improve. So I've brought them to London to lay out my strategy.
first things first, have you all kissed and made up? Because last time I saw you, you were sobbing your eyes out.
Well, we've kissed and made up, but then we always kiss and make up and then it happens again, so...
What about the competition? What did you think?
I've got to be honest, I wasn't impressed.
I'm a bit worried that your tastes do not necessarily match with those of the general population.
We've spoken to customers that have come in, regular customers and that.
Who love you, who think that what you're doing is great.
Yeah.
You know, you invited me in because you've got a problem. And this is what I do. I travel the country looking at places. And your kind of place is dying out. There aren't enough people who want what you are offering. We need to make sure that you offer something that is closer to the modern demand.
That's what I've been constantly saying at them all week.
Good,
All
good.
right, Cass.
All right. For the Singing Kettle to succeed, we have to make you a destination. And if you make really great cakes, then your fame will spread far and wide, and that's a good reason for people to come and see you.
Definitely.
So this is the first thread of my strategy, okay?
Cake shop Conditor & Cook first opened its doors in 1993. Today, they sell delicious cakes from 5 thriving shops in London. They don't just follow the modern trends, they set them, and have been part of the recent baking revolution. I want to build the Singing Kettle's new menu around a range of cakes. To inspire the Messers and get some ideas, I've arranged for them to meet owner Gerhard Jenne.
I think a successful tea room really needs to distinguish themselves with their cakes, and they don't have to reinvent the wheel, but they need to just do simple things that are really good and with wow factor. I mean, that's what we strive for.
Cassie and Marlene both bake for the tea room, meaning a potential lack of consistency. In order to assess this, I've asked them to bring samples.
That's Mum's Victoria sponge.
It's very nice. And what's that?
That's a brown. This is a brownie that I've made.
I don't think that's the most attractive brownie I've ever seen.
No, I know.
I just think that in general, something that you've got to start grasping is that people eat with their eyes first. So everything has got to look really appealing, the right size.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to kind of standardise. I mean, I think that looks nice and that looks less nice.
But it seems Cassie's feeling hard done by.
Never puts cream in her Victoria sponge. I'm the one that says to do that. I think she made that cake yesterday knowing it was coming here. Because that's not how her cakes look. If I'm not there, she doesn't line the tin properly. She does not use whipped cream in her Victoria sponges. I'm the one that says you should put whipped cream in it. Because that's what people want. She puts buttercream in. That ain't fair.
Stop crying. My goodness, girl. How can I work with you when you cry the whole time?
I know, I'm sorry.
I mean, really, it really worries me because you're so fragile. How can I, you know what?
It's nothing you're doing though, it's not you. This is what it's like all the time with my mum.
But we've got to try and find a way to move this forward without you having to cry every time.
I know.
I'm going to have to find a way to stop Marlene and Cassie squabbling. But for now, finding a range of cakes is my main priority. I'm hoping Gerhard can help us tap into the latest trends.
One of the things I love here is that they look homemade, your cakes. And that's a specific idea of yours, isn't it?
That's what I like.
Yeah. Well, that's what most people, like, you know, because when you... there is an honesty to that, and obviously the French patisserie is very different from English cakes, and I felt, you know, you can't patronize people and suddenly foist like German cakes on them. You've got to kind of cater for the palate, like, you know, making moist cakes, and for me that was the thing. I really appreciated that, the sort of honesty of the English baking, which is kind of rooted in Mrs. Beaton's baking and goes back to Victorian times, you know, and these days a lot of people do a lot of home baking, so when you go into a tea shop, you want something that matches the expectation.
How do cake preferences change from nation to nation?
I think the British palate likes a really moist cake. I mean, like, if anything, the cakes should be a little bit undercooked. Carrot cake,
because
yes.
you make that with oil and that keeps the moisture in it
Right,
rather than
okay.
anything else.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, we actually just axing our carrot cake because after 20 years of making it, it's now fallen out of fashion with our customers. What we've also done is we've actually done a sort of bit of a miniaturization of the cakes because a lot of people don't like eating large slices because they're kind of weight conscious. We now cut into 10. I mean, we used to cut them into 8, and we have a lot of customers that come in also for some savory food, and so they just want a little treat at the end of it.
What I'm saying is they need to find a house range and try and be a bit more, I think, try and be a bit more consistent with what you're offering.
Consistency is also very important.
Saying? Just that so that people know what they're going to them for.
Yes, you want something in chocolate.
You want the Victoria sponge.
You want the Victoria sponge,
yeah.
Absolutely, you know. And you want something with fruit because fruit is obviously the healthiest in a way. You know, you shouldn't have too many cakes. I mean, five cakes I think is plenty.
I think the problem is we've both got such a big back catalogue of what we both make. I suppose Mum wants them to see different things when they come in each time, to want them to come back.
Yes.
Variety.
I'm going through the same problem, to be honest. I'm going through the same problem. I'm one that, you know, actually likes to hold on a little bit. And sometimes you just have to say, you know, okay, let's have 4 cakes, and then we do a cake of the month. And so you kind of come up with a bit of a system where you can slot that cake in.
I've asked Gerhard to cook up some scones to show Marlene exactly what she should be aiming for.
The key to the dough is that it is quite moist. It's quite wet. It actually sticks to your hands quite a lot, as you can see there. It's quite an easy pastry, really. As you can see, it didn't take very long to rustle these up. So the other thing is with scones, you need quite a nice hot oven to bake them in, and then about 15 minutes time, we'll see the result.
So is this your recipe?
Yes.
And is it very different from your recipe?
Very different.
In what quantities or method?
It's different because at the moment, and since we bought the place, we have been using a packet scone mix.
Oh.
I didn't realise, darling.
If you want to differentiate yourself from someone else, you can't use a packet mix. And I think there's no easier recipe than the scones, which are really important to your business. You actually neglected them a little bit, and I think you need to address that.
Well, I didn't know.
That's interesting that it's come out, actually. I really quite, I think it's really interesting.
Marlene, you should be ashamed of having done a packet mix. Are you going to ditch it now and do it properly?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, good. Okay. Is some of this advice sinking in?
Very much
It
so.
is. Oh, yes.
It's been a real learning curve today. It's been lovely, thank you.
I'm happy that they're taking in information, that it's the pennies dropping.
Good. I'm pleased too.
See what they're saying in a couple of days. That's the tester, isn't it?
I hope I can now put the past and the packet mix behind us.
The first thing you're going to do is look at that menu.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
start slashing things off it.
Definitely.
If you want to be a tea shop, the main thing you're going to have to do is come up with a standard range of cakes, and always with the possibility of some variety. The most important thing I want from you guys is some sort of roadmap for how you two can work with each other without butting heads so much.
Okay.
Really, I've worked with my family. I know the flashpoints. But you have got to find a way to have disagreements without being rude or hurtful and without getting over emotional. Not looking at anyone in particular. It should be a pleasure to work with a family. And if it isn't, then you shouldn't be doing it. I really mean that. That is advice I would give to anybody.
As far as I'm concerned, we're now at a new junction. We've made a decision which way we're going to go. There's no looking back to say, that's how we've done it. That's past, it's finished.
Okay. So I have my roadmap a bit clearer. Now we just have to do it. You know, if the staple of the tea room, which is the scone, is made from a scone mix, how can I trust her about anything else? So, but I think that showed a level of trust in me, the fact that she could admit it, that hopefully means that we can then move on.
And we will get on, won't we?
Yes, Mum.
Two weeks later, and I'm pleased to see Ray's starting to tackle the signage.
4 rivets to come out, it's not a big job. If they're wrong, they're easy enough to put back up.
But he still has reservations about the menu.
I've got no qualms at all about doing it, as long as, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the turnover that we have. You know, there are people that come specifically for the breakfast, and if they come in the afternoon, if it's one of the changes we do, you're going to upset some people.
I understand Ray's worries. The tea room may not be my cup of tea, but it's a dream that he and the family have built. But this is business. A more focused tea room menu will increase cream teas and cake sales, meaning they can control costs and, I hope, turn a profit. When people start businesses in pursuit of the dream, there's always the danger that they think they know best, rather than looking at the cold, hard facts.
As far as Ray is concerned, he finds change very difficult. He can't really visualise it. He always wants to be the one to say, look, I did this. And if you've got someone to do it, it's like taking the control off him.
But it's great to see that the idea of offering a simpler, more classic range of cakes has inspired them.
Your Victoria sponge got complimented, so we'll stick with that recipe.
And the chocolate cake, I think there's so many variations of making a different chocolate cake with all the different fillings that we do. Brought back the idea of having cakes that are there all the time, and then other ones that we can change now and again. So I think that's a good idea. I'll give it a try and I'll see how it goes. I think one of them ought to be a tart,
a pastry cake.
Like apple pie, lemon pie. Lemon drizzle in gluten-free. Yeah, because you do that one really nice.
Yeah.
So.
And Marlene is baking scones from scratch.
It is something that I should really have gone and done a lot sooner. And if we are redoing the menu to make it more of a tea room menu, there'll be more time to do it.
Choosing the right location is crucial to any business. From the start, I've been worried that the tea room's location was a bad business decision I couldn't fix. But it appears the Messers may have luck on their side. Torquay was once an extremely fashionable destination, as the home of famous crime writer Agatha Christie and my grandfather's five-star hotel, the Imperial. In a bid to regain its Riviera label, a multi-million-pound redevelopment project is being built across the borough of Torquay, part of which is just a stone's throw away from the Singing Kettle. I've arranged to meet Pat Stewart, Torquay Council's head of planning.
So tell me what is happening here. You know, Belgrave Road, at least at first sight, is not particularly affluent.
Belgrave Road is actually one of our core tourism investment areas. So, yes, some of the hotels are a little bit tired, but we've seen some investments from overseas, from China, from the United Arab Emirates. You know, this is really good news. We've got some really exciting plans for the future of Torquay, and that's sort of economic plans and land use plans and all those sorts of things. And we are completely remastering planning the town centres. We need to reinvent ourselves. And that's what's happening in terms of tourism. You know, we're in this transition period now where we're seeing this sort of development, the new 4- and 5-star hotels coming along to reinvent what Torquay is all about.
Well, that's good, because investors tend to be a canny lot, especially those foreigners. And they do like to see a return on their investment. So it's a sign of belief in Torquay, isn't it?
The construction of luxury Seaview apartments means a new, all-year-round, upwardly mobile demographic is moving to the area.
So, clearly we've got the penthouses on top of the building.
Enormous. How much are these going to be, more or less?
My understanding is they're around £1 million.
With Torquay's demographic changing, the Singing Kettle has to change with it.
Frankly, they cannot depend on all the old dears, because as Torquay changes, the demand for what restaurants and accommodation providers are offering will change too.
The Messers should be prepared and ready to take advantage of the imminent influx of new customers.
Hello, the Messers. Ooh, these look nice. These look much better. These are finished much nicer.
Yeah.
It already looks a bit more elegant.
Yeah.
So whose style have you adopted?
Me and Mum, we're going to pick one recipe, and that's the one that everyone uses.
Harmony. So you get ticks on the cakes.
Thank you.
How have you guys been getting on otherwise?
We sat and had a chat a week or so ago. Cassie was very upset about certain things, so we talked about it. We've come up with solutions, hopefully, that will be good for Cassie and good for all of us.
It's a relief to hear there have been no more tears or tantrums, but I want to find out how they'll cope when they have to rely on each other under pressure.
What I think is that you can have as nice a product as you like, but as long as the systems aren't right, you're never going to be able to deal with being busy.
No.
I've decided to create that environment for you today. I'm going to bring in a coachload of people.
Kidding.
No? Why?
No.
I want to see how you three work together in a pressurised environment.
OK, thank you.
This is a good test because they want to be busy, they want to be successful. Can they handle it? You know, be careful what you wish for.
I will check. I will let you know when I can come in and help you. So,
if it doesn't go well, it will be useful because I will be able to tell then what kind of training I need to give them.
if you suddenly find you really do need me, let me know and I'll try and jump in wherever I can, all right?
Come in. Hi. Hello. Thank you for coming. Take a seat, have a look at the menu, and when you're ready, do go up and order.
For white bread, that is £14.50 change,
Of course, it's a very full tea room. It's just as many about as that there are chairs.
Which table is it, sir? In the corner, table 3. What can I get you?
What I notice is that drinks are coming out really well, really fast. They've got a great little system that, frankly, I've never seen before, which is very chalks the numbers of the tables on the trays. This is a very clever method. I salute you. I was wondering, because traditionally you'd take one of these and you'd put it on the tray, but then you're always losing the bits of paper.
Bacon and cheese is a toasty on its own. There's a cheese and bacon sandwich on that order as well. Yeah, and then there's 2 bacon toasties a bit later.
It must be so depressing for them when it's quiet, because they absolutely love it when it's rocking in there. How is your tea?
Lovely. Nice quality tea too, a proper cup of tea.
How are your scones?
The scones were beautiful.
Yes?
And he had a bigger one than me as well, which is really unfair.
Size isn't everything, I'm told.
Oh, well, that's not wrong.
Amazing. I mean, this was a really big challenge. I was not setting you up to fail, but you dealt with it a lot better than I ever thought.
Oh, thank you.
You were efficient, you were charming. I mean, honestly, darling, you really warmed the cockles of my heart. It really makes me feel like that I've got a lot to work with. And you know what? I just didn't expect it to be this good. It makes me feel much more enthusiastic about this project, to tell you the truth. They obviously can cope with the pressure, and I just have to make it work better for them.
The Messers are strong on customer service and getting food out and on the table, but they are letting their own taste dictate the look and feel of the tea room, which frankly makes the decor very dated. Coastal businesses have largely tapped into a nostalgic look that customers almost expect now. Starting by the sea can mean success, but image has a huge role to play. Fashion brand Sea Salt started with one shop in Penzance and now sell through 300 stockists across Britain. From Jack Wills's humble beginnings in Salcombe, Devon, they now have 80 stores and a turnover of £150 million. With the Torquay market on the up, it's important that the tea room is given a facelift, so I've called in some heavy-hitting reinforcements. Restaurant designer Tim Mutton has worked for some of the best names in the trade, from Raymond Blanc to Jamie Oliver. After going undercover on yesterday's coach trip, I'm hoping he'll give the kettle the look it so desperately needs.
It's nice to meet you properly, because yesterday you were just another punter at the Singing Kettle. So really, you're going to help me try and re-establish them as Torquay's premier tea room. But I have to believe that if we have a more attractive place to be, then people will come there.
Yeah,
So-
I completely agree with you. It's everything from signage,
Yeah.
because that's all over the place, the interior,
Yeah.
It's very dark, it's very austere, it's quite stodgy, there's a load of clutter. Everything that's relative to design in there is actually holding the business back.
Yeah. I'm not from Torquay.
Yeah.
I know the Southwest. I know it's become achingly fashionable over the last few years.
Yeah.
But and I'm so interested to see how we can translate a kind of standardised idea of the sea to something like the Singing Kettle.
Yeah. Well, I also think that you've got to be careful because what you don't want to do is create a pastiche.
Fine.
Just last night, just did a bit of Pinterest.
Right.
Looking at creating just some imagery to communicate a visual narrative. I love the whole essence of the British Riviera.
Yeah.
In terms of artwork and postcards. And I think nostalgia is great as well. And I think that whole... It's a bit like I've been working with a fish and chip brand. And I think there's that thing relative to people's memories of fish and chips and great fish and chips. And the same thing with tea.
I love all that kind of, that seaside naughtiness, all the saucy postcards.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, that rock and there's Kiss Me
Yeah.
Quick hats. And also, in this time of economic uncertainty, it's a well-documented fact that people feel safe with that kind of retro, memories of the past, golden-tinted summer days, all that nostalgia. It's very reassuring.
Yes, it is very reassuring. Yeah, but it's about how you communicate it is really key. Because restaurants are very tactile places, and I just think it's just about really delivering on that. But this is not posh.
No, OK,
It's
fine.
just comfortable. It's got a little bit of nostalgia built into it, but also it's got a bit of colour and it's a bit of fun. It's got some atmosphere to it, and I think that's just what we need to deliver on.
Tim's ideas are right on the mark, but it's not me he needs to convince, it's the Messers.
First impressions count, OK? We tend to buy with our eyes.
Yeah.
All right? Anytime you walk into a space, you want that little wow factor. But everything in here is very dark, it's very heavy. So the carpet looks very beaten up and worn. Yeah?
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree.
You need to start thinking about how you can start dressing the space. Yeah? Because I think potentially your market could be a little bit more female-driven. All right? So lose the black. And because it goes so well with the table, the dark tables, and it goes so well with the dark carpet. Everything here is dark.
And tea rooms are supposed to be
They're
kind of
supposed to be
like...
light and airy and, you know, going back to Singing Kettle, a bit of fun.
It's a bit utilitarian.
It is.
It's not pretty. And we want to make it a bit more pretty.
Yeah.
Potentially we may have to put some covers on these tables.
You can't get the size.
Huh?
Some of these tables are really strange sizes.
The people I actually spoke to and gave them the sizes they couldn't do.
Darling, I don't know what sizes you gave, but these seem perfectly standard
They're standard
tables.
tables. When we walk through the door, we want to fill Devon, because actually, this could be anywhere.
Yeah.
This could be anywhere. But actually, you know what? You're in Torquay. You know? It's like, why can't we celebrate that?
Being introduced to Tim was amazing. He has got some brilliant ideas, maybe some of the things that we just don't even see anymore. You know, that probably we should have done something about it, but we haven't. So now's the time to really knuckle down and get to do what he wants us to do and to see if we can improve.
Marlene might be positive, but Ray has disappeared.
That's gone off. Obviously, he's either heard something you don't like or something's festered in him. So, I don't know. He's not told me where he's going, I asked, so...
I'm not sure what's happened, but I do know that hearing home truths is never nice. 20 minutes later, Ray has returned.
Sorry? No, you're not fine. You're not fine at all. I can't have you like this because it upsets me. I need to get everything off your chest for you.
We've worked bloody hard. And I am sick and tired of her saying it's a failing business. You know, the decor. You know, he stood there and said it's dark. Is he blind? He couldn't see the lights? He couldn't say what's it like with the lights on? I've had to learn everything myself. How to run a business. How to do bookkeeping. And for someone like Alex to say you're doing it wrong, and the way she says it, it rips my heart out.
Okay.
I'm starting to see Ray as a big part of the problem. He still can't really understand where they're going wrong, and I'm telling him, and he still doesn't want to listen to me.
But I do think he needs to accept change for this to work.
Hi, darling. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Darling, I'm happy for you to do it way that you're comfortable with. This is your business. I am on your side.
I realise that. Some of the things that have been said, yes, they've upset me, but they're over and done with. Hopefully we can learn how each other think and go forward.
I hope that once we've come to complete the project, you'll realise that it was all worth doing.
That's fine.
All right. Bye, bye.
As upset as I was last time, I understand, and I've had time to think about it, how she has to do things. She's here to do a job. If you keep on saying, I'm sorry, I can't accept that, I'm not happy with it, you end up getting bogged down and the whole thing comes to a grinding halt, and it's been a waste of time. We can't let that happen. We have to move on.
With the air cleared, I'm sending Tim back to the kettle. This time armed with a concept that I hope will make the tea room a Torquay destination.
There are 3 things that will create effective change within this business. The first one is to change the signage. You know, so what we're looking at here, this was just we were running a few ideas. You know, the logo is just to keep it very, very simple. So again, a bit like the baking method, you know, 3 different ingredients. The second one is we need to change this environment. I mean, would love to put a timber floor down in here. If you change a floor, we'll give everybody a completely different view of your business. Really, okay? Yeah. Right. And then the third one is just bringing a bit of what you do out into the space, okay? We've come up with a concept. I just love this idea of this place just being more of a bakehouse.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it's the 2 of you getting down with it and baking. It's not turning it into bakery, right? But what it does is, I think in the town, it just gives the place a bit of a narrative. It gives the place a bit of spirit, yeah? Because there's so many other tea rooms, and it's something that you have put your stamp on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Dad's ticking.
Yeah, I am.
See the thought
I'm
process.
turning things over at the moment. So
What's your gut telling you?
I don't like it.
Why?
Because it's not the vision we had. I don't like the simplicity of the sign that you've done, the symbol.
But forget the detail. Forget the detail. Think about the vision.
Yeah, you may want to talk about visions and that. That's not what I'm into. I need to see practical things. What's going to happen? You talk about a wooden floor. Fine. To be perfectly honest, I hate wooden floors. But if it's not the detail we're talking about today, to be perfectly honest, I've wasted my time here.
Right, so...
Okay.
Right,
But Ray,
Dad,
but hold on. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Right? And all those conversations need to be had. But this actually meeting is all about setting a vision, right? It's giving the business something to hang its hat on, which I don't believe it has at the moment, because it doesn't differentiate itself away from all and everything else that's going on within the town.
Yeah. I can't see the point of sitting here listening to something that I'm not interested in. I'm going to get bored, and basically I could actually fall asleep if I get bored.
I'm not here to upset you. I want you to, you know, be great, Ray.
Yeah.
I want you to be great.
I'm disappointed by Ray's behaviour. I thought I'd put his concerns to bed, but he's more determined than ever to cling on to the past. It's critical that small businesses don't let their vision override expertise and customer expectation.
At this moment in time, I'm very sceptical. I've said all along, the idea of doing this is to improve the business. And Marlene and Cass may be able to see it, I can't. I want to keep the kettle symbol, not a round orange disc. Anybody can come up with a round orange disc.
The kettle is at boiling point, so I'm urgently heading back to the tea room.
Ray is such a control freak, and he's got to let go and take some expert advice. I'm really worried that I will have to leave the Singing Kettle before I've managed to effect any change at all. Do you remember the very first time I worked with you? I said, as far as I'm concerned, this is a root and branch change job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do something that just makes it a little less bad or a little better. We've kind of come up against the immovable object. By that I mean you, Ray.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go through you, and I can't go round you, and so I want us to decide now what we do. I think it's a bit unfair how you behave with Tim.
I agree. I overreacted. At the time I didn't think so, obviously, and I've had time to think about it, and yes, unfortunately, I can be like that, and I don't realise it at the time. Yeah, I agree with what you say there.
I mean, at some point you're going to have to take that leap of faith. That's all I've got to say. So, we have a choice. We either decide today what we're going to do and move on, or I'm going to say to you, thank you very much, but this isn't going to work. You know, this is your business. You're in charge of making the decisions. I can't force you to do anything. All I can do is give you the best advice, but I don't want to keep on banging my head against a brick wall.
Marlene, as far as I'm concerned, has my full backing on whatever she decides she wants and agrees with. So in that respect, as I say, I'm taking myself out of the equation as a problem. I recognise I'm a problem, and to solve it, I want to step back from that side of it.
So, Marlene, you tell me.
I don't want Tim to walk away. I am so impressed with him. I want him to make our tea room look amazing, and I really do seriously want him to do that. The only thing that I stipulate that I really want kept is the word tea room.
Fine.
And also, I'm still not convinced on bakehouse.
That's fine. Singing Kettle tea room. I'm absolutely fine with that.
That's good, thank you.
So you promise me that we're going to go ahead. You promise?
Go ahead.
OK.
Time to deal with the other piece of outstanding business, the menu.
You've still got... So you haven't reduced it massively. I definitely do not want your delight is our pleasure. It sounds like you're selling condoms. We're keeping the name The Singing Kettle, so I like the tenor, the baritone and the soprano tea. OK, well, you know, we are slowly but surely moving forward. Good for you for working on it.
The menu is getting increasingly more like a tea room's, which is good. But with a promise from the family, I'm hoping the premises can take an almighty leap to the tea room I'm envisaging. It's out with the old and in with the new as the Singing Kettle is given a new lease of life.
I just want to see how the new lighting changes between then and now. So I've downloaded an app for the old-fashioned light meters. That way, if I make a comment afterwards as to one way or the other, it's not just guesswork. I've got written evidence. Am I looking forward to it? Not sure yet. Jury's out as far as I'm concerned at the moment.
Despite his promise to step back and leave it to Marlene, Ray just can't stop himself interfering.
They are too big to fit on the blocks. You take the blocks off, you're going to have to end up redoing the plaster. Did anybody think of that? No.
Last-minute changes have had to be made to Tim's design, which is certainly not unheard of. But again, Ray's more worried about the detail, not the vision.
The redesign of this tea room has been a nightmare. I think there's been a lot of arguments about it.
If you're not sure what's behind, don't touch.
I think he just doesn't trust the situation and wants to be part of it.
I sat there and said to Tim, show me pictures.
All right, OK.
Show me what you want to do.
Yeah, but there's no point.
So if you want to take one of the blocks off and see, fine, do it.
Can it go back up then? I don't know.
While the builders plough on under testing conditions, Marlene's called in Cassie to reason with Ray.
What's going on?
Because he's angry about the situation, but I'm getting the look and it annoys me.
Is this simple? Go outside, take 5 minutes. That's how she's feeling, that she's getting the blame every time.
Yeah, well then get her to admit they've stitched her up like a kipper.
My parents have never argued this much in my life. Their relationship has seriously changed over the last couple of months, and not in a good way. Dad said he wasn't going to have anything to do with the design, and he has. I don't think there's a single suggestion that could have been made that he would have liked.
3 days later, the dust has settled, and against enormous odds, the overhaul is complete. I know the old tea room was a dream for the family, so changing it has felt very personal and therefore very hard. But I hope that after all the work and effort that everyone, including they, have put in, they can see that this new look is more in line with what customers expect.
What are you thinking, Ray?
What, are the crap signs? To me, the name should have taken up everything bar an inch around it. As for these pokey light things, sorry, they're a waste of time. As far as I'm concerned, I'll be getting in touch with sign writers to get prices. They're going in the bin. I don't like those. Do I need to go any further? I'm standing. Yes, so, yeah, I won't. Impractical. I've said this before, and I know Marlene's not going to like this. They are total amateurish, the way they've gone about things. They may work for other people. Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay, if they would have gone along with this, I very much doubt it.
I wanted this process to make us all appreciate each other and feel that we were all singing off the same hymn sheet. And these last few weeks, it's all gone Pete on, really. And I so wanted it to be perfect today. For everyone, not just for me. I can't do it.
The cream tea has really hit the fan, so I'm going in to find out what the problem is.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, let me see. It looks very chic. I mean, it all looks like it's so much lighter. I'm very happy with it. Tell me what you think.
I'm disappointed. There's lots of things I don't like. The woodwork, to me now, it's been hidden. You say it looks lighter in here, so I have done some tests and it isn't as light now, even with the lights on.
What tests have you done?
Of light readings. You know, I know you don't like the way I do things.
No, you know what?
you know.
I actually don't like the way you behave, Ray. I'm incredibly disappointed that after that last meeting where you looked me in the eye, that you promised that you're going to take a step back, that you were not going to interfere, that you were not going to put your 10 cents worth in until it was all over. All I have heard about is you bitching and moaning day and night. I mean, how can this floor as well? I mean, compared to the you had down.
Absolutely, no, I agree.
Well, I know, but instead of saying only the woodwork and the thing, Alex, thank you very much for putting down such a nice floor. No, forget that, because gratitude is not in your vocabulary. I'm so cross. So, Marlene, overall, you like it or you do not like it?
I do like it. I like it a lot. I'm happy with what's been done.
But why do you let Ray behave like this, darling? Why did you ask for help or for expert advice if ultimately everything suggested that what you were doing was wrong and you didn't want to change anything? I mean, it's just boring because you're an expert on everything and you know nothing, Ray.
What am I going to say?
You know, I've dealt with the most odd, desperate, diverse businesses, and this is the one that breaks me, a tea room. I mean, you know, it beggars belief, frankly.
I can't leave things like this. I have to at least say goodbye to the Messers.
I've done what I can. I've tried.
And we're very grateful, Alex. We are.
We are.
So is Ray, really. Ray is very grateful for everything that people have
for
done.
him.
I'm not covering for him. I'm just saying that he appreciates all the hard work that people have done.
Anyway, I'll go and apologise for having been rude to Ray, and then I think I'll leave you to it. Okay.
Thanks, Alex.
Ray, I'm sorry I was rude to you. That was very unprofessional of me, and I apologise.
Well, I might have blown off on that, but one thing I do appreciate is the work that's been put in by everybody.
I hope that your guests, your customers, will come in here and they will love it?
As far as, you know, if the customers come in and rave about it, fine. You know, I'm happy to be in the minority of one. If I'm wrong and the business really flies, fine, I'm wrong. I was wrong all along.
My time with the Messers is at an end, and I can't help but think about what could have been.
I've managed to effect a certain amount of surface change. The premises look better. The cakes are nicer. Have I made any real difference to the Messers? And unfortunately, I think the answer to that is no. I failed miserably in my quest to make this a kind of modern, thriving business.
A week later, and it's time for the Messers to show off the new Singing Kettle to the world.
Today is the relaunch of this amazing place.
We're really excited. Lots of businesses from up and down the road come in, show them what we're doing now.
And it's good to see Ray making an effort.
But the actual menu...
It's nice and clean.
Yeah. This is how she wanted it. She's got what she wants.
Yeah, it's nice, it's great. I like it. It's light, it's bright, it's not too chintzy, it's not overpowering.
Nice and bright and airy, so no, it's looking really smart.
It's been quite a shock to us. Very impressed.
Yeah, lovely, really nice.
We've just been getting so much positive feedback about it. It's been amazing.
Each one of the hoteliers that came in actually said they would recommend us to their guests, and they're all very happy, and they said, oh, it's so lovely, we'll come in here as well. So all in all, very positive.
6 weeks after relaunch, it's still too early to tell how successful the changes have been. Cake sales are up, but the summer season is slowing down. The tea room and the food do look great though. But despite feedback on the decor being positive, Ray remains unconvinced by the changes that were made.
I've already started coming up with different ideas for the new signs, and that's when I get my toolkit out and start putting right what they put wrong. So I shall be busy.
Well, you can't please everyone.